Hello and welcome to this latest class, which is strut loading and posing and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm doing this on a green background, so I'm just going to add another background in. Anything will do. So I think I'll do this lesson on the moon, well, or something else. We'll see in a minute. So first thing, before I start, you can see my name thingy at the top. Just going to switch that off. So I go avatar, preferences. You probably only see the corner of these, but it doesn't matter. General, and switch my name tag off. So what's this class all about? Well, as I said, it's about loading your strut and selecting poses. So what I'll do is I'll just open my inventory. Ta-da! And just find the poses, because the way I like to do things is I'll just move this a little bit out of the way. If you are in a show, you will have outfits and you will want to fit poses to those outfits. So what you could do is take yourself down to your local pose shop and buy lots of new poses. And what you'll find is each show will cost you 100 lindens a pose. And as in many cases we do 12 poses, that's 1200 lindens per show. Don't really want you doing that. So best way to do it is before you go and buy any poses, get your outfit on, da-da-da-da, like I have here. And what I do is I think, I have 3 poses per stop and a default and a walk. So what I will do is I'll just put those poses up in world and see which of those poses I want and which poses I don't want. Now before I go any further, the thing with the strut is that it cuts the number of letters out from a pose name. So if I looked at this pose here, which is possession freezer 10, it probably cut out ZA10. So when you come to use the strut, you won't know which pose you've got, which pose you selected. So what I'd do is first of all, make sure your inventory not in recent. If all your poses are in recent, just log out and log back in again. And just rename the pose. So click on it. So that's left click, so I've selected it. Right click, rename. And here, I'm just going to remove the word possession. Bingo. So I haven't done it to all my poses yet because I only just learnt about this issue with the strut today because I'm new at it. So, what to do? I asked myself. So, as I said, I don't want to go to a shop. I want to look at these poses and have a quick look and see whether they work for me. I'm not going to be perfect in this particular lesson. That's not the point. The point is how to select poses and then how to load them into the strut in a particular order. So if I just double click this particular pose, you'll see it's actually come down here in the corner. I'm just going to move it up here, or halfway down the screen, and I'm just going to go play in world. And the reason for that is because I want to see what this animation looks like. Yeah, it looks okay. I'm not going to zoom in. Well, I am going to zoom in. What the hell? I just want to see whether this pose is actually doing the biz, is actually going and actually looking correct for me. Like I said, I've got a green background, so I'm going to change it. This is how I do all my videos, by the way. Okay, so now I'm just going to zoom in on my Avi. I'm not editing this, so if I get the words wrong, well, I get them wrong. So just going to zoom in. and I can see this pose is okay. So I'm going to keep that pose. I'm going to click stop. Next thing I'm going to do is double click next pose because I want to choose 3 poses and a default. So the next pose I'm going to choose, I actually checked this before, this was actually going to be my default pose. I'll tell you how I know that. Just play in world. And that's what this pose looks like, and press stop. And then just pull in these other poses. I've got 5 and 10, and here I'll pull in 4, just move it down. Just going to move these down quite a bit more and in a nice column, because when I load the strut HUD loads up here somewhere, and before I couldn't find it and I panicked. It's because one of these things was sitting behind it. It's okay. So I've selected Elegant Doll 5, Freezer, Elegant Dot 4. I'm going to use Elegant 3 as well. So that will be my default pose. This has no description on. So what I would do is I would in here type the order I want these poses in within the strut. Now it doesn't rename the pose, but it actually tells me, so I keep this on screen, which pose number it is going to be. It's going to be my first pose, my second pose, my third pose. I know this is going to be my third pose. My first pose, sorry. And this is going to go into where it says no description. Pose 1. And you'll see that will make sense in a minute. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the assumption that in a show my strut is going to break. And I'm going to have a little panic. So what I do before a show, I just stick in a default pose and 3 other poses into what I call in world. So if my strut does break, I'm not stand there like a lemon, I can actually use this, the pose. So all I would do in reality is I'd go play in world, pause at my default pose when I stop. If I press stop again, you see that moves my AVI again. So I wouldn't actually cancel it. I go play in world. I click play in world on the next. And for each pose, because it's in world, I'm just going to get them running. 1, 2, 3. That pose there. Let's move my inventory out of the way. Now, because I'm in a show, I now want to cancel these poses. But I don't want it to look like this. If I go like this, just watch my mouse when it does, my AVI, and see what it does. If I stop this one, see it's bouncing? I don't really want to do that. What I want to do is I want to move back to my default pose. By cancelling these, you don't see them. You don't actually see them cancel. So watch my AVI. I played them in this order. Therefore, I'm going to stop them in this order, but not stop the Elegant Doll. So I'm going to stop pose 1. I'm going to stop pose 2. And I'm going to stop pose 3. And now my AVI moves to the default position. So when I stop, I pose, I pose, I pose, and now I want to go back to default before I walk. So stop, stop, and stop. So back to default. Make a habit, please, of putting 4 poses into your in-world so that if your AVI does go stupid, as I said, you're not standing there like a lemon panicking. There's no need to panic. I'm just going to click stop here, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my strut, and I'm going to actually edit it. So I'm going to add these poses to my strut. So I need to find my strut first. And I've actually done this quite badly, but I'm just going to go strut, and my struts are here. So I'm just going to load one onto the floor. Hopefully it will land in the right place. I can see it. So I'll actually load it over here, floor over here. And right in the corner, oops, I loaded it in the wrong place, so I'll do that again. Just take it. I'm going to load that onto the floor. And here you can see the strut that I want to edit. Because I want to put these poses into that strut. So click and cancel here. I just want to go into animations where the poses are stored. And this is where those poses are. So the next thing I want to do, I want to load those poses into this strut. So I go edit. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this strut a meaningful name. I'm going to start it with the word strut, so whenever I search for a strut I'll always find it. And then I'm going to call it video show, because that will be the strut for the video show. So when I pull the strut up at any time in the future, I just go strut, comes up with all my struts, and it's under the word video show. Next thing, I want to drag those poses that I got down here into my strut. So I click content. I've already got some poses in there, and that's fine. So I want to pull essentially these first few poses into the strut. So literally all I do is click the first one. And by holding the shift key down, as I click, I can select 4 poses, and I just click off all of them, and I drag them, hopefully, into my strut, which you can see. So those poses, I'm just going to double check. Elegant.5 is there. Remember, it's not got its description, but it's got its name. Freeze is in there. Elegant.4 is there, and 3 is there as well. The reason I'm doing this is because in reality, I could have dozens of poses already in here. And I just needed to make sure the ones I want are there. So I click away from edit. I take my strut. I'll go into recent. And there's my strut for the video show. I'm just going to right click that. I'm going to add it. I'm not going to where I'm going to add it. And as you can see here, we got the strut showing up. Now, this, if I just click this set here, it changes. Now what you could do is each stop, or forget there's numbers there, each stop on the runway could be a set. So I go set 1 is my stop 1, set 2 is step 2, set 3 is stop 3, and so on. Fortunately, it only goes one way, I can't go back. So I'm going to set up my strut for set 1 or stop 1. But how do I do that? Well, I click on the kissy, nothing is there now. I select it again, and can you notice everything is over here now, but they're faded backgrounds. Now, the default pose is in stop, the walk is in walk, 1, 2 and 3 will be essentially pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. So I need to load them. To load them, I move over the word stop with my mouse. It becomes a, can you notice that becomes a pointer? So I left click, I don't let go, you hear a little click, little thud, and up comes a menu. And I have to choose, so this is for the stop, which of those poses R is going to be my default. Now I know it's elegant.5 because I've put the word default in here. Elegant.5 up here is reference number 6. So what I do is I click 6 and that is now loaded. Take my word for it. You can always change it. You always take these poses out and add them later. It doesn't matter. I now do the same for my walk. So I highlight my walk. I left click and I hold the mouse down. And that menu comes up. I've got to drag it down here. You can't see it. So the menu comes up. And here, because it's a walk, I know number 1 is my walk. So I press 1. You can see that that's not faded anymore. I'm going to look at pose 1, which is this pose 1. So I don't have to remember the names because I've already got them up here. So I left click for a few seconds. Pull the menu down because I've hidden it in the corner. And this is freezer 10. Okay. Freezer 10 is pose number 7. So I'm going to stick 7. I do the same for pose 2. So I've got the mouse over there, left click. This is freezer 10. Sorry, I'm on pose 2. What am I talking about? So because I'm on pose 2 is elegant.4, which is number 5 up here. It's convenient. Click OK, and number 2 is highlighted. My third pose will be elegant.3. So again, I just move over here, hold the mouse down, and I can see that elegant.3 is my pose number 3 because I've got it written down here. And that's numbered 4 there, that's different. There we go. Click OK. I'm now set up. So I'll just show you. If I just click on this again, on the lips, these are my poses now. So I was going to set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5, set 6, set 7. 1 is those poses. So let me just click. I'm going to turn off my inventory. And at this point, I'm also going to switch my AO off. I'm not going to take my AO off. I'm going to switch it off. And I'm just going to click on stop. I'm going to click on 1. I'm going to click on 2. I'm going to click on 3. And before I walk, I'm going to click on stop. And then I'm going to walk off. So there you have it. Setting the strut up. Hopefully not too complicated. This does not replace what Res and Z will show you when they take you through their class. This though is just an easy way of remembering which poses are which. You might find there's an easier way. To me, this is my easy way. But please, can you have poses in World in shows? Because there's nothing worse